Hello, and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast for July 6th, 2024. This is episode 220. Stand-up comedian and actor, improviser Paul Green coming to you, sharing my journey as I traverse the many ups and downs of pursuing a dream. So yesterday, I had one of the funnest shows that I have ever done in about a week. I say that because a week ago, I also had one of the funnest shows that I had ever done. It's like it's just getting better. So last night, I had an opportunity to perform with Clean Comedy USA, which is a comedy production company owned and operated by a man named Randy, who just does a phenomenal job at producing clean comedy shows. And he's built a brand over many years. He's been around for at least 15 years, as far as I know. Might be even longer. And he produces comedy shows that, the comedians have to perform clean, and you got to be pretty clean for him. Clean means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and there are definitely different variants of clean. And last night I ran a joke by Randy that honestly is PG, barely PG. And even that he said, yeah, let's not do that. That being said, the audience is phenomenal and huge. He said that last night was a slow night and they only sold like 350, I think he said. Huge crowd. He holds the comedy shows at a church down in South Chandler, and it's just one of those gigantic mega churches that has the huge facilities. And the comedy show wasn't even in their main facility. I got a peek of the main facility. That thing has to fit thousands of people. But the comedy show was in sort of this auxiliary building or whatever, and I think he said it holds about 500, and that they've gotten 500 recently. But last night, just being the 4th of July weekend, he said that it's not as full as they're used to having, but it was, my point of view, completely packed. And I went out, I did my thing. Up front, I did a couple of riffs about the venue. I always, if possible, I try to riff or improvise about something in the room that is relevant and obvious to everybody who is in that room right now. And whether that's commenting on something that was said before, or commenting on the venue, commenting on the show, commenting on myself, commenting, just anything I can do to make the show present and live in this moment so that the audience becomes present with me. And then from there, I can start to take it wherever I want to take it. So my opening joke was the back of the stage. There wasn't really a back. What they had was one of those gigantic, like 40 feet LED screens. It was like a whole wall, like the whole back wall of the stage was an LED screen. I don't know if you've seen these before. If you walk behind them, it is so cool looking because it's actually like 80 small square televisions all linked together, all linked and stacked together. So it's almost like I'm calling it 40 feet. I don't actually know how big it was, but I mean, it was pretty much the length of the stage, and it was a big stage. That stage, I'm assuming it was 40 feet. I mean, the venue seats 500 people. I mean, it's a huge venue, and this LED screen was the back wall of a very large stage, a stage that you could fit like a complete band on. And I don't mean just like the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan show where there's 4 of them and they're just kind of in the middle. It's like, no, you could fit a small orchestra on it. You probably couldn't fit a symphony on it. It's not like Carnegie Hall big, but yeah, you could fit probably like a 30-piece wind ensemble or like a large choir on this stage. Very big. And again, the LED screen took up the whole back of this. And again, behind it, it's actually probably like 24 inches by 24 inches square and screens that are all stacked vertically and horizontally, and every one of those screens has a cord coming out of it, like a power cord, and then some sort of audio visual cord. And so you look back and there's just like hundreds, and they're all synced up. I'm saying hundreds. It's not hundreds. It's probably, they're anywhere between 50 to 100. I probably should have counted. That would have been fun if I actually figured out how many of these smaller televisions all stacked together to make the big, gigantic LED screen wall. So anyway, what cracked me up, though, is when I got there, this gigantic LED screen was just displaying a gigantic red curtain. So they have this huge piece of technology, just this gigantic, maybe 40 by 12, 30 by 12. Yeah, maybe it wasn't 12 feet tall. Maybe it was, trying to think if I could have touched the top of it. I probably could have. It's probably like 9 feet, but very long. Maybe I'm going to go 30 by 9. That's my final answer. And but anyway, so they have this gigantic piece of technology, and then there's just a red curtain, just like it just looked like an inexpensive, image of a red curtain that they could have just, downloaded off of Google or something for free, and then just popped it up on the LED screen. I'm sure it connects to some computer somewhere, obviously, where they can feed it whatever information they want to show up on the screen. So anyway, I come out on stage, very warm audience. They're in a great mood. And my opening joke was something along the lines of, this is a huge milestone for me. I always wanted to perform in front of a digital curtain. And they all start laughing. And then I had a couple tags where I said, I can't understand something like, I can't understand the budgeting of this venue. You can't afford curtains, but you can afford a 40-foot television. And they like that. And then my next tag along those lines were something like, yeah, I would love to see, I would have loved to have seen that church budgeting meeting. Like, hey, we need to purchase some curtains for the stage. You're like, what? This is a church. It's not Carnegie Hall. Oh, okay. What about a 40-foot television? Well, it is for the Lord, so we might. And they seem to like that, because I assumed, and I probably assumed correctly, that the majority of the audience were either members of that Christian church or were probably religious. I know that Randy's, demographic, he tracks a lot of Christians. But anyway, so I wanted to just test their own sense of humor about, religion and God and all that stuff. Although I don't have any religious material, but I just wanted to get a gauge of their sense of humor and, would they laugh at me sort of poking fun at, a budgeting meeting where somebody says that they need to buy a 40-foot screen television for the Lord. And they did. So they laughed. They were in a good mood. And I'm going, this show's going to be a lot of fun. So, there was one other thing that I did up front. So what was interesting about this show, it was actually a variety show. So the opening act was a magician, and then they had a singer, and then they had another comedian, and then another singer, and then me. So I followed a woman who sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow and some other classic hit that like Frank Sinatra used to do. Like it wasn't Unforgettable, that was Nat King Cole. I don't remember. Some popular show tune from like the 50s or 60s, right? But she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So after I talked about the curtain, the next thing that I said was something along the lines of, one of the challenges of going last, because I was headlining, I said, one of the challenges of going last is you have to sit backstage and listen to all the acts before you. And sometimes an act will talk or, will bring up something that you were planning on bringing up. And then you have to decide if you want to drop that or just do it anyway and understand that it's going to be a little repetitive. By the way, I worded this so much more cleanly when I was on stage. I'm very tired right now and whatever, and I'm recanting as best I can. So anyway, so I set that up. It's really hard to go last because you've, that there's a chance that somebody else did something that you were going to do, and then it sounds a little repetitive. And I just said, unfortunately, that is the case tonight. Are all of you cool if I just start off by doing something that you've already sort of heard, but, I'll just try it again. And they all cheer and they go, yes. And then I just start going, somewhere over. I'm laughing at myself. So I just started singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow a cappella, and they just absolutely died laughing because obviously the woman right before me sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I made it seem like I was referring to one of the comedians, whatever. So that was sort of my impromptu, how can I get this audience on my side right off the bat and be present with them and let them know that I'm in the room and they're in the room with me as well. And then from there, I went on to my scripted routine that I've really been working on a lot the last 3 or 4 months. Everything went really, really well, and I just had a phenomenal time doing that material. It's just so fun to have this material start to just really hit consistently. And then after that, I did my token signature comedy bit where I brought up 2 people from the audience. I interviewed them, and then I sang a love song about them, or improvised a love song about them. And what was really fun is they weren't a couple. They were actually platonic friends who came to the comedy show together. And so when I interviewed them, and I'm finding out about what they're into and all that, I made the song. I said, like, all right, I'm going to write a song to helpfully, so that hopefully these 2 people will fall in love. So anyway, I improvised my song, and I had so much fun and came up with this song that just the audience was laughing so hard and so loud and so long. There was this one time where I sang a couplet, and I just stood there to just let them laugh it out. I mean, it was, who knows how long it was in real time. It felt like 30 seconds, but By the way, 30 seconds of stage time feels like an eternity just to stand there while people are laughing. So that felt really, really good. I wrapped up the song with a huge rhyme that everybody loved, and then I got a standing ovation. So, great show, and I get to do it again tonight at Stir Crazy. So I will be doing pretty much that same set, and it is also a show booked by Clean Comedy USA, owned by Randy, and so I will be heading out to Glendale. Oh, ho, ho, but before I get to Glendale, guess what, everybody? I booked yet another live Blippy performance. That's right, everybody. I will be waking up here and going to play Blippy for yet another kid's birthday party. But anyway, I'll have a good time. Other than that, I am still pushing through the 48 Laws of Success. It's been fun reading your comments out there. Just getting everybody's sort of perspective on why I'm responding to the book the way that I am, as well as commentary. And the third law of success is really fascinating to me. It's, in essence, don't reveal your intentions or conceal your intentions. And it was so funny when I got to that part of the book because I have referenced that idea multiple times doing this podcast. Because I'll see these TikTok videos that will pop up to say, don't let people know what you're up to. Just keep your head down, work really hard, and then let them see the result of your hard work. And that narrative has caused a little sabotaging of me, having enthusiasm about doing this podcast every day, because it's a lot to do it every day, but I did that very deliberately. And the flip side of that is now I'm doing this podcast every day, and I'm pretty much revealing my intentions every single day. So according to this book, I am doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. And yeah, I don't know. I've appreciated the comments about how, this is the laws of power really apply to a certain demographic of people. They aren't universal, and that there are much better ways to get things done. I don't know. There's just always better ways to do things, I guess. Higher laws, higher principles, and I guess the 48 Laws of Success, again, it just seems to be very, very carnal, very cynical in nature. But I am trying to get through all the laws. I say I'm reading the book. I'm actually listening to it on Audible. I'm an audiobook guy. So I've been listening to the book, and I want to get through all of them. And I just feel like the fact that I actually feel so negative to it is an indication that maybe there is something that I need to learn from this book that will ultimately be of value to me. Don't know what it is yet, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. All right, everybody. I think I am going to call it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I will see all of you tonight if you come out to Glendale, Stir Crazy in Glendale, for a comedy show. And I will look forward to seeing you there if you come out. If not, I hope all of your dreams are coming true. You're out there hustling, pursuing them. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. This is July 6th, 2024, episode 220 of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. I love you all so much. I will talk to you tomorrow.